2-4, proceed southbound on Alpha, report off controlled surfaces.
Proceeding southbound Alpha, ops 2-4.
All right, so as we discussed in the classroom, today's exercise is going to be exercise number 4, which is airspeed and power changes. So we're going to use the tree line at the Fraser River as a reference for height.
Roger.
We're going to try and maintain treetop height while we accelerate through different speeds. So we'll be using different power settings on the collective to achieve different airspeeds on here. The big thing is to keep in mind is going to be every time we raise collective to increase speed, at the same time we also want to feed in some forward cyclic and some right pedal. So because our power pedal is the right pedal, when we raise collective we need to feed in some right pedal. And if we just raise collective, we would just start to climb. So at the same, kind of in the same smooth motion. I'm going to add some forward cyclic and find that happy medium between there so that we maintain the same height visually on the river. So our next frequency we'll be getting to is going to be 122.77.
1227, copy. My eyes in. Oh, oops.
77. Sorry, 122.77.
Ground, ops 2-4 is off all controlled surfaces.
Ops 2-4, Abbotsford ground, thank you. Kilo Golf Uniform Abbotsford Tower, traffic over the tanker base.
Yeah, that was quite a good procedure, I thought, back in my previous flying training days. Anyway, is when one guy's in, eyes in anyway, the other guy tends to stay eyes out here.
Yeah, good plan.
A bit like the who has control element. It's good to know who's the one who's focusing on instruments and whatnot.
Absolutely.
But of course I pressed the wrong button, so it's probably quite good that you looked.
Yeah. That's a great procedure, especially for dual pilot situations.
Exactly.
India, surveillance terminated, change to honored frequencies.
Echo Tango India.
Echo Tango India.
So he's cleared us now.
Oh, no, that's the wrong one.
Okay. Alright, so this call is going to be Fraser River traffic. Golf Echo Tango India, just over Clayburn Towers. Going to be
what are these called again, sorry?
Clayburn.
Clayburn.
Clayburn Towers.
And this is what river?
Fraser
River.
Clayburn Towers. And we're going to be eastbound along the river, low level.
Roger. Fraser River traffic, this is Golf Echo Golf Echo Tango India, passing Clayburn Towers en route to the east of... Fuck! Bit cold. Oh, bugger.
To the east is fine. Alright. Let's turn and follow the river, start a descent. Descend all the way down.
I tend to get very frustrated if I get something wrong.
Oh boy. Can be frustrated a lot.
Oh no.
I'm just kidding. So we'll follow the left shoreline here.
Yep.
And we'll just descend to treetop height. And we'll stay just over the water. Alright, then we'll level off just above the trees here. And why don't we level off at 80 knots? So we need a little bit more power there, around 80% power. Bumpy there with the wind.
Try and iron it out with me flying, eh?
Yeah. So if we look off in the distance now, along the tops of the trees, we can use that as reference.
Yeah.
Just stay along here. All right, and now I'd like us to slow down to 60 knots.
Yeah. Oh, birds.
Yep, good call.
Birds here seem a bit smarter than the ones in the UK. They turned away.
Some are, some aren't. The eagles, you got to be watching for them because they...
Kings of the sky.
They're birds of prey. They'll attack you. All right, good. So that's at around 60% power. If we maintain 60%, we should be around 60 knots. Give or take a little bit. Too much. And then let's go ahead and slow it down to 40 knots.
Sure.
Notice this one will need a bit more than 40% power to maintain.
Looking like about 50, 55.
Done. And then we can slow it to 30.
Yes, the rotor blades aren't long at all, so you can really get quite close to them.
Yeah, they're quite short.
Ooh,
A little
there we go,
faster
that's 20.
You don't need to be quite this close, because it could be something coming out we can't see very clearly. The 30 knots actually even takes more than 40 knots.
It's quite difficult to find that balance.
It is, yeah.
The 30.
As we approach that translational lift, we start to use more and more power again.
Of course, with the wrong attitude, which evidently I have. You'll either accelerate or just keep decelerating.
Exactly. All right, let's go ahead back to 50 knots.
Fraser River, that was it. That's what I missed at the end.
Fraser River.
High back. Going a bit low there.
Better, good. And then let's go all the way up to 80 knots again.
Watch out.
Rode that early with lots of right pedal. We'll stay up here on the higher part. Alright, let's hover taxi over to the right about 10 feet or so.
Put my tail on the left, please.
Yeah, tail's off there left.
Let's trim out a bit. We'll take a left.
Let's stay facing into the wind.
Yep.
And I want you to hover sideways over that way.
Roger.
Yep.
Tail's clear right. Ooh. Come on. There we go. finding that balance of all the controls.
Well, you hover well for 1.5 hours in. Alright, this is good here. And we can go ahead and come down and do a landing here.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah. Nice job keeping, for the most part, keeping the altitude there. A little bit up and down.
Yeah.
Partly just because you're just rushing a little bit to get to the speed. Yeah. We can just be a little bit smoother and slower, and then we have a bit more control over what our altitude is doing. But getting the job done, you're getting to the speed, and
keen, I think.
Staying safe altitude and everything. So that was good. What I want to do now is I'm going to set up for a circuit.
Roger.
We're going to do a 600-foot circuit back to the same spot, okay?
Okay.
So we'll come up in the hover, we'll do a traffic check, radio call, we'll depart out that way, fly up to 300 feet, crosswind to the right 600 feet, and we'll fly the 600-foot downwind leg, then we'll come around and back into the spot.
Cool. What's that radio call consist of?
So the radio call is going to be,
again.
this is Chilliwack Mountain, to our right here. So we're departing a sandbar north of Chilliwack Mountain, doing a 600-foot circuit.
Roger. Once we're in the air, of course.
Yeah, you can do it on the ground or in the air.
Roger. So, do some takeoff checks then. So all lights are out, engine RPMs in the green, fuel is good, all switches are on, car peaks on auto, and that's them all.
Friction's off. We don't want to forget our T's and P's.
T's and P's, that was it. Knew there was something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fraser River traffic, Golf Echo Tango India.
Oh, bloody hell, what's the mountain called? Sorry, Chilliwack Mountain.
Chilliwack Mountain.
Golf Echo Tango India, operating north of the Fraser River, 600-foot circuit.
Did I say Chilliwack Mountain? No. Oh my goodness me.
The northern Chilliwack River.
Fraser River. It's difficult not knowing the places, not being a local. Bloody hell.
I feel so bad for you guys.
Right, anyway.
Well, and to be fair, most students wouldn't be doing radio calls for a few more flights, so you hear the calls.
Yeah. I really want to get just a map of the local area just to get some of these landmarks.
Yeah, we'll
it's
do that.
Absolutely nailed.
We'll sit down and look at some of that.
Fraser River, Chilliwack Mountain.
Yeah.
Roger. Anyway, so all lights extinguished, engine RPM's in the green, fuel is good, T's and P's are all in the green, all switches are on, car peaks on, auto, friction is off.
Perfect. Clear left.
To be clear right and above. Lifting up.
Sounds good.
And that wasn't terrible.
That wasn't terrible at all.
There we are.
I mean, for a 1.5 hour student.
And you say traffic check?
Yeah, we'll do a right pedal turn traffic check because
Roger.
airplanes, helicopters, they all fly on this corridor.
Okay, if you set my tail again for me, please.
Yeah, we're all clear to the left.
Roger, tail clear left. Coming around to the right.
All clear.
All clear. Tail clear right. Clear left, right, and above.
Yep. We're going to keep building our speed to 50 knots before we do any major climbing. As I'm sure you're familiar with the high velocity diagram, that standard departure allows us to remain outside the height velocity diagram as long as possible.
Forward up to, say 600 feet, level off, turn right.
No, 300 feet we'll start the crosswind turn. A little bit more speed is good. Be nice to be around 60 knots there. Just because of where we are, we have to turn a little bit earlier at 600 just because we're going to enter Chilliwack zone otherwise. A little bit of an awkward spot to do a full circuit, but it'll be a bit of a weird dog leg. We'll come around the side of the mountain and then we'll go back out that way. Set up for our base leg.
Sure. What's the circuit speed for one of these, generally speaking?
So we'll level out here at 600.
Oh, 600. I don't know. I was going to 7. Jesus.
That's right.
Not so good.
And circuit speed, we'll just use cruise power, so 74% or so.
Roger.
And whatever speed that gives us. About 70 knots, 75 knots. Alright, so there's our area down there. So downwind checks. We're going to check the area is clear. Final check, lights are all out. Everything's in the green.
Area's clear. All lights out. These are in the green. It's amazing. It doesn't matter which direction you look, there's just a big mountain there. Brilliant.
All mountains here.
More power in.
Yeah, so this should be far enough here. We can get our power down now, start our base leg. It's clear to the right.
Get it back in balance.
What a beautiful evening now. Got the best time of day for your flight.
Yeah.
Actually, it's going to look a bit steep. Let's get our power rate down to 30% there. First part of the descent a little bit steeper, and then we'll level it out a bit more at the end. As long as we have good forward speed, nowhere near 30 knots, our descent rate can be as high as we want. As we approach our slowdown, then we're going to want to have our descent rate decrease. Moving all the way to the spot. Then we can extend it out a little bit longer. We don't need to go to the exact same spot.
I was using this big sort of log here as a
reference.
Partial reference point. To the ground?
Yeah, we can get down and land again.
Bit of a skid.
Alright, beautiful. So let's spend a few minutes here just doing a bit of hover work.
Yeah.
We'll come up in the hover, we'll kind of taxi forward towards that log.
Yeah.
And then I want to do a little bit of work just doing slow turn around the nose, keeping the log as our center point, and just kind of working around it, keeping it always pointing towards the log.
Roger. See how now. All lights are extinguished, RPM's in the green, fuel is still good, T's and P's all in the green. Switches are all on. Friction is off. And we're all around.
Good.
Afternoon. slight bit of backwards motion, but just feeling for it to lift up onto that back right skid.
That's right, yeah.
Right.
That is the feeling you want. Just up in that corner and then straight up there.
Tail's clear right.
It's going to be a bit of a weird turn around the nose because the log is so long. But we can just come sideways along the log and then work around the end of it. Sideways along that side, work around the end of it.
So I'll go perpendicular to.
Yep.
There you go. It was to settle quite low in the hover. Yeah, the reason I asked about the radar in the last sortie was, of course, the EC135 has one, and it's quite good for figuring out your hover height. Because we used to do 10-foot hovers, which, I suppose, generally speaking, is quite high.
Yeah.
This looks like it's quite low.
Yeah, we're about 4 or 5 foot hover here, so nice to be at least that 5 foot hover for any kind of taxiing sideways, backwards.
Yeah. There it is.
Yeah, feels good. Always occasionally check to the side to make sure your tail is still clear. No obstacles.
It's not really pressing the left pedal, is it, that you want to do? It's just taking it off of the right.
Pretty much, yeah.
RC.
Yeah.
Okay, settle it down. There we are.
And we just have to be clear here. As I mentioned, a 1.5 hour student isn't going to be doing this kind of hover work on day 2. You'll still do some hover work day 2, but it'll be kind of one control at a time, trying to figure out how to put them together. So not a total accurate representation of what a 1.5 hour student would look like. But exercise-wise, we're going to go through sequentially all the exercises that you would do as a new student as well. Probably stay a little bit higher overall, just in case we get a gust of wind or something and moving sideways. Let's go ahead then, and we'll face back to the right there.
Tail clear left.
Tail clear left.
Spot turns.
Alright, and let's come around the front end of this log, and for this departure, I'm thinking the better departure overall is going to be down here.
Yep.
That way we're not having to be over water right away. We have lots of options to land if we have to over here.
Tail's clear right. Got a gap in the trees here, so I think aim for that. Just to give us a bit more time.
I can see behind us, no traffic over there. So radio call is going to be north of Chilliwack Mountain, departing to the north.
Roger.
Golf Echo Tango India, north of Chilliwack Mountain, departing to the north.
Okay, we're clear left, right, and above.
On this one, let's do a nice, smooth, slow takeoff, and then we want to build the speed to 50 knots. Then once we hit 50 knots, then we'll start to climb. Start building that speed now.
Oh, there's that hover trim. Right in the
building that
lotter.
speed. There's a 50, nice. And then we can turn to the left.
I'll sort this trim out now. Not that you should ever trim in the climb, eh?
It will not be totally accurate, but better than the hover anyways. What's your power there?
Yeah. say it's below 30 knots that we can go into the 90 to 100?
That's right, yeah. So we can follow the river back this way.
Up to 1,000?
Yep. Okay. And if we look now, we can see ground speed is 43, airspeed is 55. So we actually have a headwind now.
Oh, right.
So that's partly why our circuit's felt so funny, is because we're downwind. Oh, that's a beautiful sunset.
Oh,
not quite sunset yet, but
it's
there.
Shame it's a far side on the. Shame it's on the far side of that mountain.
Oh, we'll see it when we come around. Unfortunately, we've had engine failure. Selective down, into the wind, into the wind. Alright, so we have a couple options. This sandbar ahead of us over here is going to probably work pretty good. Probably end up just over on that small one over there. We'll keep our speed right around 55 knots. Jam's doing good. More left pedal there. Speed 55. Gentle flare. Good, and level, level, level. Cushion.
Probably ending up in a roll there.
Oh, that was great. The reality is that power recovery is much harder than a full down because you have that torque coming back on, right?
Yeah.
Whereas a full down is no torque.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah.
Nice, smooth. Very nice. First forced approach. First of many.
Yes, again, it's just, I'm sort of looking much further away.
Yeah.
Given that, well, I don't know why, but I was just looking further ahead. Don't usually look that close. Probably because you can't stop that quick in a 135.
Yeah, so big things there is we gotta get that collective down.
Yeah.
There was no attempt to get the collective down there.
Yep.
And then.
Right. I think just a bit of confusion. I think.
Yeah.
I thought that was a sort of another semi-demo thing.
I just thought I'd give everyone to see how you react.
Yeah.
Then we'll talk about it later.
Yeah, sure.
All right. Let's do a quick check for traffic behind us, and then we'll do a departure into the wind.
Sounds clear right.
All clear behind.
All clear behind. Tail clear left.
So we're departing a sandbar north of Chilliwack Mountain, heading westbound.
Golf Echo Tango India departing Sunbank north of Chilliwack Mountain to the west.
I'm going to aim that direction.
Yep.
So we're not flying into a mountain. Okay, we're clear left to right and above. There's our translation.
Yeah.
There's 50 knots. There's a climb.
Move it along the river here.
Roger.
Yeah, so that's what a forced approach will look like going forward.
Yeah.
Basically, I'll give you some kind of warning. You know, the first cue is going to be my feet going like this.
I was a bit suspicious, I must say.
And then it'll be the engine failure, then I'll roll off the throttle.
Roger.
Then as soon as you hear and note that the throttle rolling off, immediately cue is lowering collective, slightly aft cyclic to maintain level flight, and just target. And then ideally a mayday as well for forced approach.
Yeah, but not on the radio.
Not on the radio, just declare it. So it would look like collective down, mayday, Uniform Echo Tango India, engine failure onto the sandbars north of Chilliwack Mountain, souls on board. Then it's rotor, motor, airspeed, trim, target.
Yeah, I think just getting the sights into where we can land and
Yeah, exactly.
'Cause like I say, it does stop pretty well.
It does, yeah.
Speed. And I gave some of the boys a bit of advice this morning about if you see something wrong with your speed or your height or your power setting, fix it there and then.
Yeah.
And if you have to climb 100 feet, start, you know, a climb, gentle climb. By the time you come back to it, you'll be at wherever you want to be,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
you can solve something else then. Like that there. So we're at 1,100. Bring it back down. So I need to make sure I do it myself, otherwise I'm just a hypocrite. It sounds like they're all picking it up quite well, and they're enjoying themselves as well, which
good.
is really good to hear.
I haven't really had a chance to talk to any of them yet. Going, but so I'll do a quick demo here with you. Kind of a fun exercise. We're gonna do an engine failure in 3, 2, 1. Failure. So we're gonna pretend our only spot is that field right ahead of us there. Okay. So what we're gonna do right away is we're gonna slow it down because we're gonna overshoot it quite a ways otherwise. Slow it down. So we're basically at 0 airspeed now. Descending. Looking at the field, starting to think about getting a little bit of speed back just so we have to work with. Fairly short field, so we're not going to go right to 55 knots. Airspeed just up a little bit more here. So by slowing it down, you have lots of time to look at the spot, really get a sense of how far you are from the spot.
I've never done that before.
Never done one of those before.
We've changed the speed to obviously shorten or lengthen the run, but never effectively 0 airspeed before.
Yeah.
Never ever done that. That's quite interesting.
It's obviously it totally depends on how far the spot is away from you. If it was a little further away, I would have gone down to 30, 35 knots and just slowed it down to that, held it, and then sped back up at the end. But because it was like almost, you know, in our feet there, we had to either choose to do a bunch of S turns to get down there, or in my opinion, the easiest and best is just slow it down. It's the most relaxed and calm. There's not a bunch of turning going on, RPM changes. It's just a gentle slowdown, and then just wait and wait. And it takes a fair bit of practice to know exactly when you start getting your speed back. Because if you wait too long, then you got to be really dramatic about the speed. Then you're getting your RPMs all over again. But if you're smooth about it, you can get your speed just back to where you want it. And then, like I said, because it's a fairly short target, we don't want to be right up at 55 knots. Because then our flare is quite long. So we keep it a little bit slower, 45 or so, a little bit more abrupt flare, and we can stop in a very short distance.
That's pretty cool. So guys, what's the, I suppose, minimum auto speed that this can maintain?
Like airspeed?
Is it quite happy to just come down at 0?
Yeah, you can come down at 0.
Roger.
Some aircraft you do have to be careful that
this is why I asked.
Your blades, like on a 206, you don't really want to do 0 speed autos. But this one is quite happy at 0.
Evidently.
As long as you don't wait too long. You do need to slowly start easing it back out of that. So.
Impressive.
Right. Your controls?
I'm on control. So all lights are out, RPM's in the green, fuel's still good, T's and P's all in the green, all switches are on. Relative friction is off. We are clear all around. And above. Coming up.